Are you a SharePoint person? Have you used Dataverse? If not, why not? We're going to be joined by Audrie Gordon on this episode of the Low Code Revolution and talk about why you should consider Dataverse as a SharePoint person. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, welcome to the Low Code Revolution. I'm your host, April Dunham, and in this episode, we're joined by the wonderful Audrie Gordon, who's a senior PM on the PowerCat team here at Microsoft. So happy to have you on our show, Audrie.
It's really exciting to be on your show, April. I've always followed you and I've looked at your following. It's just you have the greatest subscribers and everything. So I'm excited and honored to be on your show.
Oh, well, I'm honored to have you on here. So for those of you who may not know, if you haven't been around the Power Platform space for a while, but I've learned everything I know about Power Apps from Audrie. So she's one of the OG Power Addicts and Power Platform people out there that helped train us all early on. So really honored to have you on the show here.
Thank you.
So we were chatting recently, Audrie and I, and so one thing that we have in common is we're both from SharePoint backgrounds. So I was a SharePoint developer in the day, and I know you've done a lot of SharePoint stuff yourself, Audrie, but you've been kind of getting more into the Dataverse side of things, which obviously runs the Power Platform. So I'd love to get your take while we have you here on what made you kind of consider Dataverse, coming from a SharePoint background, and what was that journey like?
Yes, I brought some journey recommendations for you, but I want to start by saying that I am most definitely, my heart still is in love with SharePoint. SharePoint paid my bills for most of my career. Been with SharePoint since its beginning, and I still love SharePoint. So I think I want to start by saying that I was encouraged to add Dataverse to my tool belt. I have not left SharePoint. I continue to use it. But I believe in my heart that you need to use all the tools that help you solve problems, because that's what we are. At the root, we are all problem solvers. Most of us who are SharePoint experts, we just love helping people collaborate and giving them solutions that help them get stuff done faster. And so Dataverse, I just added it to my tool belt because now I could basically leverage that as well. Now, I'm going to tell you a secret about me. I'm a chess player. And anybody who plays chess knows that you don't hyper-focus on a single piece. If you hyper-focus on a single piece while you're playing chess, you will lose the game. You must use your pieces in combination. So when I think of all the services in Microsoft 365, and I think about all the services inside the Power Platform, I want to use them in combination with one another in order to get those optimized solutions for my consumers. So this is like my key point. Don't throw anything out. Just expand your tool belt so that you can do more. And so I have 6 things I want to share with you today. May I share my screen? Okay, so I have 6 recommendations as you journey into Dataverse, right? 1, take a closer look at CDM. Some of you may know what this means, others not. CDM stands for Common Data Model. Every time you install a Dataverse database, you get a package of pre-built tables, relationships, views, forms built in for you. So imagine that you kind of could, and I haven't seen this anywhere else, where you get this out-of-the-box infrastructure ready for relationship management. And when I say relationship management, I'm not speaking technically, I'm speaking human, right? We have customer relations, we have supplier relations, we have partner relations, and the CDM is built for that type of data infrastructure. So it's really easy, and I'll just bounce over, if I can, to Power Platform for a second. When you install a database, right, you automatically get all of these tables. And some people kind of get a little overwhelmed by that. But actually, you don't have to create a table unless one of these don't work. For instance, the account table is one that can be used for any external company reference, right? So you have a company that you work with, right? I'm going to show you a column I have on here called business type. Let's see if we can get that in here. I always forget I can search. Business type, I'm going to hit save. So these companies that are in here are customers, partners, and suppliers. So basically, you can use one table for multiple types of companies, and then you can set up apps, forms, views that are specific to those business types and or unite them in some way. But this is built in. I didn't have to build this table. It was already there for me. And all of its relationships, columns, views, and forms are there. So FYI, I didn't do anything. I automatically have this amazing infrastructure that I can use for any external relationship. It's called the common data model. And my first tip is get to know it, because in many cases, people are unaware and they just start by creating custom tables. And although that's often necessary in SharePoint, it's not really necessary as much in Dataverse. And so you have a lot of infrastructure built in. And just from your infrastructure, you can create an app. And you'll hear about me talking about model-driven apps, because that model-driven apps are the fastest to build because they are what they say they are. They are driven by the data model. And so if your data model is good, your app is ready in 2 minutes, right? So it's something I like to share with people. I'm going to keep going so I don't run out of time. I'm going to show you the second thing that I think you should think about, and that's table logic. So where you do create your own custom tables, or where you do create your own custom columns, remember to be smart about it, because what you want to do is you want to build it once so that every app that picks it up contains that model, right? So I'll give you an example. At Microsoft, we're divided by country codes, and these country codes are 4-digit numbers. And yes, HR could take the time to teach all of us what the country code is for our location. I happen to know I'm in the United States, so my country code is 1010. But nobody wants to teach that to the 200,000 people that work at Microsoft. So there could be a data model that says as soon as you see the location of United States, so maybe I'm filling out a form, what country is your office in, and I choose United States, then there could be a business rule that kicks off that says, okay, set the company code to 1010. And don't even have to show me that company code on the form. It could be something that is even hidden off the form, but it's going to help us with our Power BI dashboards. It's going to help us with other things. We can also have logic such as formulas, and that's a pretty new thing. And I'm just going to give you a peek at that. So if you have preview in your URL, you will see this. Okay, this is important because this is in preview. So look for the word preview right between make and Power Apps. And then when you create a new column, notice how I can do that right easily on this landing page. You will see a new column called formula. And with the formula columns, you can just start typing and it will give you IntelliSense, right? So there's an annual revenue column in here. So it gives it to me, right? And I can divide that by 2, and that could be my revenue divided by 2, which who knows what I would use that. But I've got some instant formulas. And this is part of Power FX, which is going to light up all over the Power Platform. And you're going to see a lot of capabilities built into the formulas. I love to use them for alerts too. I will set an alert that says if the actual contract value is greater than 30% of the bid, then let's start a process to see if we can check and see why this actual value is bloating so quickly. So you can do things like that where you combine what you're using in Dataverse with Power Platform, with the Power Automate platform as well. Third thing, reuse, reuse, reuse. And I think I'll keep saying that all along. Whenever you can build something once and reuse it for 1,000 apps, you should. And this will help new makers as well. If you create a data stewardship model in your Dataverse data model, then you can give makers the opportunity to use that model. So for instance, if there were formulas in my columns for sales data, I don't really want the salespeople to have to figure that out on their own. They might calculate that incorrectly. So I publish that data model out to them, and then they just use the apps, and then automatically the algorithms will be correctly configured. So it's really nice that you can set up a data stewardship model by providing these data models to the makers. Always remember that Power Platform is always going to try to connect, right? And we want to connect with what you're using, right? Again, there's no desire to like move you from SharePoint or move you from SQL. But if you need data from SQL or SharePoint or SAP or somewhere else, then you can incorporate quite a few things. You can incorporate data flow, which is built into Dataverse, and I'll just point you to this as well. Data flows are right here on the left, and data flows will help you migrate data or synchronize data with Dataverse. You also have Azure Synapse Link, which enables you to create query tables using Spark or SQL to build those tables that you can now leverage in Power BI. So basically, you can do joins and merges and things like that that you might be used to doing in SQL. You might be able to do that through Synapse in order to create tables that you can use for analytics. In addition to that, you can add custom pages to any app that's a Canvas app. So in other words, like in this case, I have an app here that's a model-driven app. And maybe in the model-driven app, I want to have a page that's a little fancier or a little bit different or connecting to a data connection that's not available. I can connect to SharePoint using the SharePoint connector and a custom page. And this custom page is basically like having a Canvas app inside my model-driven app. So you can have the best of both worlds. So keep that in mind. Connections are important to us. And the newest guy on the block is the virtual tables. Not because they weren't there before, but we've now got quick wizard-like provider options that enable you to configure a virtual table to SharePoint or SQL or Excel in like 3-4 clicks. And now that table will be visible in Dataverse. It can be used for lookups. It can be used with data logic. And it combines with your model-driven apps. In addition to that, I want to say, basically, I think you figured this out. Don't think, should I do Canvas or model-driven or Teams? Think, what's your requirements? And then make it against the requirements. And then lastly, my favorite thing about Dataverse that I didn't have in SharePoint is application lifecycle management. And this is the ability to iterate, because nobody creates a perfect solution. So by iterating and having that solution package, if you haven't heard about Power Platform Solutions, get into it. They should be your best friend, because they enable you to consolidate all the components that you want to reuse into a solution package that you can move from dev to test to prod, or just move from this tenant to that tenant. So a lot of capability there. No more PowerShell scripts for replicating lists. Instead, you'll have one solution and you'll deploy that using an application lifecycle management model that goes from your first iteration all the way through deprecation of that solution. So these are the things that I love, April. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, definitely so much to unpack there. You pretty much covered everything that I could think of. I love that you showed the Dataverse experience, because I don't know about anyone watching, but if you haven't looked at Dataverse in a while, it's been like 2 years or more. It's changed a lot, obviously. Yeah. So from what Audrie just showed us, the modern experience for building the tables there, it's a night and day difference. Being able to use Power FX in our columns and all that. I mean, it's just so much easier to work with Dataverse and the tables there. So love the new experience, and I love the conversions that you talked about. It's not really a model-driven versus Canvas like we've talked about before, with custom pages and being able to integrate it all. It's just making the choice easier and easier to really start looking into Dataverse and all the new functionality and the greatness that it offers. And I love the point you made from the very beginning, is it's not an either or. It's another tool in your tool belt that you should add. So there's still, I still have love for SharePoint as well. There's still a place for it in situations, but should definitely look to adding Dataverse as a tool in your tool belt.
Yes. And I also brought some resources for everybody. These are places you can go to get help, but also feel free to reach out to me or to reach out to the Power Apps community, either one. I'm happy to help you as you manage this journey. The good news is, from day one, you can achieve something great, all the way as you grow up to being a master or a hero in your own tenant, as you learn to scale data models for your entire company. So I look forward to coming back and talking with you again, April, but I wanted to leave everybody these resources.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Definitely check out the resources that Audrie has listed here if you want to get started with Dataverse. And thank you so much again, Audrie, for coming on the show.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you all. We'll see you next time on the next episode of the Low Code Revolution.